Hello, hello, hello. Marietta back with another video. Y'all know what? I just want to have a little conversation. Is that all right? We're going to sit here and have a little conversation about how these food stamps are to be moved around and how we transition from food stamps to cash. How is that going to look far as us being out here in the real world, spending our hard-earned money that we had to go work for? How different that really makes you feel when you take responsibility for your own well-being. As I was sitting here and I got to thinking about, um, let me share something with you. I remember back in the day when people used to always say, um, are food stamps out yet? And the reason why people would ask, are food stamps out yet? This is people that were spending cash. Is because when you go to the grocery store and the food stamps, just before food stamps would be distributed, the price of everything would go up. People that were spending cash, they always recognized the fact that everything was expensive when those food stamps would come out. So we would actually save our money. Well, I put it this way: I would actually save my money until actually the food stamps would calm down. You didn't see the girls with 3 or 4 carts. You didn't see so many people at the store. The parking lot wasn't as full because when the food stamps were out, it just seemed like everything was marked up. Everything was so expensive and you couldn't afford to buy anything because, see, remember now, the stores also capitalize on these food stamps because the more that they can get you to pay for something, the more they can rake in of your money all at one time, which will also deplete your household. Because, see, even back then as a young girl, when I used to get food stamps when I was raising my kids, I would always do a budget plan, and I would always take my food stamps, and I would, if there's 4 weeks in a month, so I would always break them down. If I got $200 food stamps, now I'm gonna spend $50 this month, $50 this month, $50. I mean this week, $50 next week, $50 the following week, and I'm gonna spend $50 each week, so that my food stamps would last me till the end of the month because I would do a budget and I wouldn't go spend them all at one time. Well, see, somehow you couldn't get the girls to grasp that concept. So as soon as they got their 3, 4, 500 dollar food stamps, they would get them, depending on how many children you had. They would go and fill up 3 or 4 buggies at one time, buy everything they could think of, throwing all kinds of junk in the cart. No budget plan, recipe, um, no recipe awareness. They had no sense of what was healthy, what was not healthy. It was just, I see it, I want it, throw it in the cart. I got enough food stamps to get it, let's get it. So that's how basically a lot of them shop. And that's how a lot of them, from what I'm seeing, that's how they were shopping when I watched them shop online. They would throw all kinds of junk in the cart and you would look around, there would be hardly no meats in the cart, no fruits, no vegetables, very little, oh sorry, my earring fell off. Very little of anything that was healthy inside that cart. But yet and still, they were able to buy whatever it is they wanted to buy, and then they would realize their food stamps would not last till the end of the month. And that was because they did not know how to shop to make them last at the end of the month, because they were buying things that they would not normally buy if you were using cash. Cash is king, y'all. Cash is king, because when you're spending your cash, you're going to be more conservative, you're going to be more respectful, you're going to be more responsible, you're going to buy what's more what you need opposed to what you want. You're going to spend your cash a lot different than you are going to do when you got these food stamps, spending these food stamps. So when they spend these food stamps, they just throw it in there. It don't matter. Your friend can get some, your neighbor can get some, whatever you want. What do you want me to pick you up from the store? This, that, nothing. Do you notice when you spending your cash, nobody's asking you what you want from the store? Do you not know when they spending cash, they're not going to come and see if you even got a grocery bag or you got an egg in your refrigerator? But when they spending somebody else's money, come on somebody, come on somebody. When you spending that government money, you spending somebody else's money, you're more free with that money, because of the fact that you looking at it like, I didn't earn it, I didn't go make it, it's mine. But you don't think about it like that, like you do your own money. That's just called a thing. When you got to go down in your pocket, you got to come up with $600, $700, $300, $400 to buy them groceries. You don't ain't gonna want to do it because you're gonna want to spend your money other places. Let's just put it out there the way it is. So right now, even right now to this day, let's fast forward up to 2025 right now. We are looking at the fact that there will be no food stamps distributed for the month of November. So that means people will have to spend cash. If you go to the store to buy anything, you're going to have to spend cash. But that also means that there's going to be less buying power. There's going to be less buying power in the stores because of the fact that people are spending cash. which means that there are going to be a lot of things that if it continue this way, that's going to go on sale. Because people with cash are not going to be out there buying no 3 and 4 and 5 carts like the people did that had the food stamps that was able to afford to buy it that way. It's going to be a difference in what you see when you see people shop. You may see people go in and they may get a cart and come out of that cart. They might got 2 or 3 bags. Every now and then you might see one with 5 or 6 bags. They might got a little extra money that month. But normally you're going to see people with limited amount of groceries in them carts because they're buying what they need with the cash that they have on hand, opposed to you seeing somebody who has food stamps going in with $700, $800, $900 food stamp and they lining up 2 or 3 carts worth of food and just throwing it in there and taking it home. The very same people that shop like that with food stamps, they would not shop like that with their cash once they begin to make cash of their own. And you don't have to tell them not to shop like that. They're just not going to do it. There's a big difference in how you feel when you got your cash in your hand opposed to when you're using food stamps. They had no respect for the food stamp system. They had no respect for the food stamp card. They had no respect for the fact that these were food stamps that was given to them to help them along the way. It was just like, I see it, I want it, just throw it in there, that's it. And then when they gone, we'll wait for some more. We'll just wait for some more. That was like a cash cow, free. But there's something about when you're spending that cash will slow you down. That cash will make you have some respect. That cash will make you start looking at things, picking up prices, make you evaluate what it is you're buying. That cash will actually make you write up a grocery list before you go to the store. That cash will make you look at prices, price tags, which they don't do when you're spending food stamps. The difference between spending food stamps and cash, y'all, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm just trying to give y'all some insight of what's going to happen here. And so you go to the grocery store and you realize that them food stamps are not dominating the floor. Them food stamps are not taking the stage. Them food stamps are not in the forefront of everybody's mind. They're not out here emptying the stores because of the fact that the food stamps are out and the people that own the establishment like Walmart and or any other store, the Food Line, no matter what, all these, whoever, they're going to feel this in their pocket and it's going to hit hard. Why? Because they also are going to lose out if they don't drop the prices of these food, drop the prices of these meats, drop the prices of these things inside these stores in order for the people that got cash. Because see, now I got cash, I got buying power. I got buying power. If I look at that pack of meat, and that pack of meat is $30. I got $30 worth of cash in my pocket. That pack of meat can sit there. I ain't got to get it. Wherein somebody with food stamps who don't care, they would just pick it up and throw it in the cart. Why? Because I'm paying for this with food stamps. Girl, get out my face. I'm using food stamps for this. I'm using food stamps for this. It don't have the same respect as that cash. Do you see what I'm saying? That cash, they're going to hold on to it because that cash has more value to the person that's holding the cash. You see what I'm saying? So there's going to be a difference. So I really believe that this is something that even went on, like I said, back in the day. And we would always watch for when the food stamps come out. And we would be careful not to get tangled up in that group of shopping and going to the grocery stores when those shoppers were in the stores. Because when those shoppers was in the stores, it was like the store was catered to those shoppers. Why? Because it was more of those shoppers coming in to shop with larger amounts of money in food stamp value, and they would be able to dominate the floor. So therefore, the stores didn't have to cater to those that had cash. Now you're going to see a big difference. You're going to start to see prices change when we have to just spend cash, even if the food stamps don't never start back up. Just say for instance, right now, the food stamps get kicked out completely, and they never issue no more food stamps. The prices that you're seeing in the stores right now, even people with money don't like throwing their money away. Even people that can afford it, just because they can afford it don't mean they will. So it's more or less like the prices of things inside the store, especially groceries, because they will perish. They would not last long. So they would rather sell them and be able to recoup some of their overhead back for these products than to let them sit on the shelf and rot and end up nowhere. So you'll start seeing meat go on sale. You'll start seeing prices marked down. You'll start seeing cheaper this and cheaper that. Watch your grocery stores. Watch your grocery stores for the month of November and come back and let me know if you see anything cheaper, if you see anything being marked down, if you see meats starting to move off the shelf. Because every time I go into my local Walmart now, there's nobody at the meat counter. There's all these meats lined up nice and pretty. They got them all nice and pretty, but there's nobody over there picking them up because the prices are entirely too high. But the minute that these food stamps are not coming out for the month of November, these stores know that they're going to have to make an adjustment. Them meats are not going to be able to sit on that shelf for 30 days and sit there and think that people are going to pay you top dollar for them at the end of November, that they're going to pay the same price for them as they would have paid for them fresh after they had them food stamps and been able to pick them up and been able to go ahead out there and shop. So it's just something that you got to watch for, and you got to pay attention to how money moves. And effing so you can do a budget plan. They own me about the way I say effing so. That's just my thing. Effing so you understand how to do a budget plan, how to budget from week to week and shop week to week. Just shop for what you need. You know, after you get your, of course, I know everybody's been prepping, but I'm just saying for your essential things like eggs, milk, butter, things that you may have to buy each week. Budget yourself for those things. Budget yourself for those things and watch how your money moves. Pay attention to your money right now. Pay attention to how things are happening in your grocery stores. Pay attention to how they are going to be more accommodating in certain areas of that grocery store. Because I'm surely going to be going to the grocery store, and I'm surely going to be paying attention to the fact that this may be the time for those that have cash. This is the time for you to get out there and be able to watch and be able to pick up some packs of meat that are ready to go on sale, because they're going to have to drop the price. I really believe they're going to have to drop the prices of these meats down. Type in the comments and tell me what you think. Have you witnessed in your area that when the food stamps came out that things were cost a lot more in your grocery store? Have you witnessed a bigger volume of shoppers around that time of the month, and you realize that that's not the time of the month for you to shop because your cash is not going to go as far when you mix it in the same month of not the same month, but when you mix it within the same week of shopping while the food stamps was out? Did you ever realize what I just said? Did you ever notice that? Because it's always been this way. There's nothing new under the sun. This is not something that just started. It's always been that way. I used to always say it. If the food stamps are out, there's no need us going to the store because everything's going to be expensive. As soon as them food stamps were gone, and you put your 2 pieces on and you got dressed and you got yourself together, because there's a different way you shop when you got food stamps than when you got cash. I'll say it. I've been saying it for years. When I got my cash, I'm more responsible about what I might pick up. I'm gonna budget my money. I'm gonna make my money work for me. I'm gonna make my money last. So y'all type it in the comments. Let's have the conversation. Let's see exactly what you're thinking about it. We're talking about food stamps to cash. Food stamps to cash. Let's see the difference. And I want to hear y'all in the comments. I want to see you in the comments. Y'all tap in. I love y'all. Effing so you stayed this long. There I go with that. Effing so. Effing so you stayed this long. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel. We love to have you over here. We love to uplift, motivate, and inspire. And effing so you have not turned your notification bells on, please turn your notification bell on so that you will be notified when I drop my next video. And y'all get on out there with that cash, because cash is king.